Hey, how's it going? Man, I had an exhausting week. 60 plus hours of work. The weather was bitter cold, and overall it was kind of a downer. But I made it to the weekend, and I had a pretty good day today. Went to the mall, sat in the massage chair for like 30 minutes. That was great. Went and saw Taken 3. It's like the first and second one, still cool. Liam Neeson's a badass, so I give it that. I had two great things happen to me today. Things that people talk about, like uh, this is dead. I opened up the door for someone, and it happened to be a lady, and she turned to me. She said, "Oh wow, chivalry isn't dead." And you know, I had held the door open in the first place for the guy walking through, and no, chivalry's not dead. And it doesn't always have to be chivalrous. It could just be generous. You're just helping someone out. Um, you don't have to let it die. It's still there. Just be generous to people around you. So chivalry is not dead. Uh, and the coolest part of my night was I get out of the movie and I parked on the opposite side of the mall that the theater's in. And it was so cold, and I was like, I'm gonna have to walk around the entire mall to get to my car. And uh, a security guard saw me, an older gentleman, and he said, uh, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I parked behind J.C. Penney." And he goes, "Oh, it's a really long walk." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'll help you out." And so he escorted me through the mall, which was all closed up, and took me out the back way. The entire way, being an older gentleman, he bestowed upon me his wisdom of parking for the Cinemark, and how there's the north lot and the southeast lot, and what's the smartest ones to park in. And it was kind of like a lecture, but at the same time, it was generosity. He didn't have to do that for me. He could have just sat there. I could have walked outside, and I could have taken the like half a mile walk around the mall in the bitter cold, hold my popcorn and whatnot to get to my car. But instead, he took the time out of his day to help me out and impart his wisdom upon me. And it just reminded me that, that generosity is still there. So that was really cool. And then the day finished up as I'm driving home. I get on the highway, and feeling pretty good. And a car is getting on after the next exit, and he's flying. He had to have been doing already 65 miles an hour. And when he's coming into the lane, there's these two cars there, and he goes to swerve out around this one, not knowing that the truck in front of him was already switching lanes. So he like cuts the wheel left really hard, and the car starts swerving back and forth. I thought it was gonna flip. I thought I was gonna get to see a car flip, and then I was actually kind of scared because I was like, there's a car to the left of me, and there's one a little bit back. I was like, this could actually turn out really bad, especially for him. He got it under control, but continued to speed. Listen, I'm not going to say that I've never gone over the speed limit, but there's a difference between going over the speed limit and being courteous to other drivers and just being an a-hole. And this is what this guy was doing. He actually sped up. When he got control of his car, he peeled out around the car that was in front of him that he was swerving behind and kept going. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, if this guy keeps driving like this, there's going to be a big problem and he's going to hurt somebody. The guy in the truck was an older man, and I mean, with his like daughter, it could have been horrible. So I started to try and speed up because I'm thinking I'm going to call this guy in. I just don't want I don't want to see an accident happen in front of me. And then I'm like, well, I gotta speed and catch him. And I was like, I don't know. And then I see a state trooper coming down and around one of the next exits about half a mile down, and I'm like, oh God, please just let me see some justice. Show me that justice isn't dead. With all this shit that's going on in like in the U.S. right now, just show me something that's like they're still doing their jobs and they're protecting people. And this would be, even though it's small and it's minute, someone erratic driving, like speeding. I just wanted to see it. And he gets behind him, and then this car, I was like, oh, he's not going to get him. He didn't see the swerving and the fact that he almost flipped, and he's going to slow down, and the cop's going to let him go. So I'm like thinking about speeding up to like tell the cop that he's like swerving, and then he starts swerving in front of him. Listen to the left and to the right, and I realized that he's been drinking. He's doing it in front of a police officer, whether he was texting or like inebriated. He was swerving in front of the police officer, and I see the lights come on, and it made me feel good. I feel like no, I'm not saying like, oh, you should get a ticket. You should get a ticket, but you know, everyone should get a chance, like a second, like let off or whatever, a chance. But this one, he didn't learn from his first mistake of almost flipping his car and continue to speed and drive erratically, cutting in and out of people. I just wanted to see it put to rest. So hopefully this shocks him back into reality and has him like, pull himself together. And if he was drinking and driving, I hope that that's put to rest. But I ended up having a great week. Like I said, Taken 3. If you've seen 1 and 2, go see it. If you haven't, you still don't even need to see the first 2 to see it. And by the way, Forrest Whitaker, I'm so happy to see you in more movies, man. I think you're one of the most underrated actors ever. And speaking of Forrest Whitaker, if you haven't seen Ghost Dog by Martin Scorsese, check it out. And I hope all of you had a good week too. And I'll see you next week. All right, deuces.